Good. Hi, everybody. I'm pretty sure that we are almost tired of today, but there's lots of information to take in. So I hope that you'll enjoy the piece that we shared today. Like we've mentioned, my name is Pieter the Toit, and I look after Africa and Middle East for TietoEVRY. And I have the pleasure of visiting my customer in the Maldives. So I hope that you'll learn from today and the case study that we present, and hopefully inspire you to visit their beautiful country. So I'll just talk quickly about the TietoEVRY system and the product that we have, and then you'll see how we have applied it in terms of the use case to Maldives. But for those of you that don't know, TietoEVRY is a global payments company headquartered out of Finland. Our payments business has got about 1,100 people actively working to improve payments for banks and for our customers across the globe. And it allows us to travel to multiple countries and see the different landscapes that these countries have to offer in terms of payments and the different challenges that they do have. And if we take Maldives, for example, the payments landscape in Maldives is quite unique from a perspective where they have about 600,000 Maldivians living on islands that's spread about 1,000 kilometers apart from top to bottom. And they have about 2 million tourists that also visit their beautiful nation every year. Very high bank population, and also a very high smartphone penetration where about, or at least every adult has got 2 smartphones that they use. The industries in Maldives, obviously tourism is a big part of their GDP, and then also fishery and some manufacturing and agriculture as well. But the main 2 is tourism and fishery. So with the geolocation, as I've explained with the Maldives, it makes access to banking quite difficult. If there's not a bank on your island, or if your bank is not on your island, it makes it difficult to be able to get banking services. Therefore, there's a high reliance on cash as well as checks. And then if you have a dominant commercial bank, and it also eliminates a lot of the competition that's in the market. So what the Maldivian Monetary Authority set out to do is to improve the payment ecosystem. And they built that ecosystem based on 4 key principles. They would like to have a payment platform that's fast, easy, open, and safe for their citizens and tourists to be able to transact and do business. So from a fast perspective, from the outset, it had to be an instant settlement system. The transactions need to be able to flow easily, meaning that you need to be able to pay a particular person by either identifying their bank account, their mobile phone number, their email address, their national ID. So all forms of identification could be used in the KYC to identify someone and to make a payment. It also needs to be open and to facilitate competition and to facilitate the payment service providers to be able to add their services and then introduce different layers of value-added services and competition. And ultimately, as we all are in the payments world and banking world, it needs to be safe from a fraud prevention and also anti-money laundering rules that have to apply to this particular platform. So what we set out to do together, the Maldives Monetary Authority and the TietoEVRY instant payment solution, is that we have 3 different layers within our offering, being level 1 being the core system to facilitate these instant payments. And then we have a value-added services layer where we have our unified payment gateway, our proxy service or our smart addressing service, our open banking layer for the connectivity, and then the variety of other value-added services that comes along with that, and the ability to pay later, or you have your loyalty platforms or utility or tax authorities that needs to obviously integrate with the system. And then you have the front end, which is more on the client side or the customer facing, the end user side, where there could be a variety of mobile applications that can be deployed and connected to this ecosystem, e-commerce portals, as well as their backends and multiple APIs and SDKs that facilitate either the platform itself or that helps transactions flow through the system and through that value-added services layer. So how we've applied that onto the infrastructure for Maldives is that our new instant payments platform, the actual infrastructure thereof, the 3 layers that I've mentioned to you, will live within the Maldivian Monetary Authority ecosystem, and it will connect to the existing RTG settlement system that also facilitates a faster go-to-market, allowing very little changes from the settlement accounts. And then you have the instant payments core system, you have our unified payment gateway, and then you have a smart addressing service that lives within the new payment infrastructure. This allows service providers to connect. This allows service providers to be able to provide different value-added services, competitive on their rates, and then the ultimate benefit is for the end users in Maldives, for them to be able to go out on a fishing boat and catch a day's fish, and before they hit the land or hit shore again, they'll actually receive payment in their wallets. Instead of having them to be able to go to the market, then get cash, then go to the bank and to deposit it. It obviously streamlines that process flow where they would be able to pay for their laborers on the spot as well. So it really enhances the overall ecosystem on how money flows within the islands. And obviously, as I've mentioned, the geographic landscape that provides also a bit of challenges for money and cash to move between the islands. So breaking down the instant payment system in terms of the value-added services we would need to provide, it obviously has to be real-time clearing. So that is the fundamental point of an instant payment system. It has to be in real time, and it needs to be able to handle multiple types of payments. So payments obviously that needs to be sent to the utility provider or into business to business or person to person type of accounts payments. And then also very important is a new feature called the request to pay. If you have the ability to go and request payments from customers, or if you have to have a child that needs to pay school fees, that can actually request a payment from their parents. So having quite a lot of bi-directional payments that's flowing through the system, that's enhancing or encouraging the way that money flows and that e-commerce happens, and quite a unique value add to instant payment systems across the world. The smart addressing is also very unique in the form of no longer just having to identify someone by their bank account or their IBAN account. We have the ability now to identify someone by their mobile number, their email address, their national ID, or even the corporation registration database for companies that have registered within Maldives. Tourists that will be able to travel in with their passports as well. So the smart addressing really enables the flow for money, that if individuals might not remember their particular bank account, they would be able to receive a payment and then push that payment to whichever account that they so wish on their mobile app. The unified payment gateway that's being also deployed within the Maldives ecosystem is unique in the form that it provides the open standards for delivering these payments. It's an API-based access layer. What it means, though, is that both customers and participants in the ecosystem have APIs that they can connect to, which is more secure, and they would be able to transact faster. And there's a lot of bi-directional communication that's happening. So customers, the end user, the person like you and me that's visiting Maldives, would be able to, at a first glance or using the mobile app, being able to see across your different wallets, your bank accounts, or transactions that you've done. You'll be able to see that in a unified form because everything runs through the unified payment gateway, as well as it is also a venue for banks that they will be able to consume APIs. And even non-banking or licensed banks, they will be able to participate in this ecosystem through what we call as indirect participants. So they are able to connect to the banks and to the ecosystem to offer their system and through these APIs. So a very rich feature within the product and a very rich feature in terms of deploying these large ecosystems. And obviously on the key principle for Maldives to have a very open platform. Moving along in terms of the functionalities that besides for the key principles, the functionalities that Maldives wanted to encourage and to deploy on this ecosystem is that all bank accounts need to be linked, which is quite fundamental if you are looking to deploy an interoperable system, is that along with it being open, it also needs to be interconnected. And that's where the Unified Payment Gateway comes in and the APIs. So all bank accounts can be linked to this platform, and that allows customers to be able to top up manually, moving money from account to account, from wallet to account, or from wallet to wallet. If they have multiple wallets, multiple accounts, which often happens in a high bank population, if you would like to move money around easily, that's, I guess, the precursor of these instant payment solutions. And then also for tourists to be able to top up money through international cards. So whether it would be Visa or Mastercard or any other ICO, international card organization, where they would like to top up their cards or they top up their wallet, they can do so through the mobile app and connecting their card. And as I've mentioned now, it enables the transfer of money very easily. So from wallet to wallet, if there's mobile wallets, if there is obviously different types of bank accounts that you would hold for different types of services, being able to move money interoperably or interchangeably between these accounts very easily from one single platform, whether it is a banking app that that their bank provides, or if it is the digital bank that's also being deployed in the country, making it quite a fascinating use case for the time to market and the adoption rate on which these functionalities can be enjoyed by the Maldivians and the tourists visiting the country. So further along with the use cases that's being offered, as I've mentioned earlier, there was a heavy reliance on cash. If your bank is not on the island, you would actually have to then either take that cash to the merchant where you've paid for your services, and that merchant needs to either then take that money via a boat to the next island where their bank would be, or they would have to pay high fees to deposit cash at a competitor bank. So, and there's also a big reliance on checks, and checks to clear takes long because the check needs to travel by boat to the clearinghouse and then being able to be scanned and processed from there on out. So a big reliance on an infrastructure to actually facilitate payments, and this ecosystem obviously enables things to happen a lot faster. There's also the self-service vehicle terminals rather, so you can do your KYC more efficiently across the entire ecosystem. Everything would be linked with biometrics, and I guess a big part for it is for the customer experience for tourists. Instead of having to pay for everything up front when they in their country before they travel to Maldives, or having the issue of travelers' checks or cashing large amount of currency if they go to an island. This enables them to completely transact cashless, which is also a benefit in terms of the customer experience for tourists that's visiting the beautiful shores of Maldives. So, and maybe in terms of closing, before I hand over to the next speaker, so the core outset, the core objective for Maldives Monetary Authority, as well as the TietoEVRY, was to develop a financial ecosystem and a payments ecosystem that enables fast and simple payments for everybody in Maldives, and then also to be able to receive money and receive payments, irrespective of where you are on the islands and where your banks are, and ultimately trying to increase the competition within the banking ecosystem, and also to encourage innovation for payment service providers to look after the retail customers and to offer them as our previous speakers mentioned, with neobanks, so neobank services where it's a bit more focused, a bit more niche, focusing on a particular core element in the payments ecosystem and doing it very well, and enabling customers to be able to transact very easily. So yeah, with that, I think I bring it to a close. I thought I'd share a quick case study, and I'm happy to have finished just on time. But you'll see my QR code there. If there's any questions, please connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll happily respond after the conference. Thank you.